Hello, it is I, the Master of Games, Pierre, and we are Telling Tales. We run atmospheric tabletop role-playing systems live on Twitch, and we have recordings on YouTube. There's also links to our Discord, social media, and Patreon, all of that sort of stuff, if you want to check it out. We run weekly series, including Vason and this, with Symbarim coming back in August. And there are also some one-shots to look forward to, also probably in August. Check our events for when exactly those happen. So upcoming, we have Hell Knight and a third installment of Johnny's Space Thulu. And with that, I have completed the intro and welcome you to The Big Wet. So why don't we bring on our first player, which I believe is Sam. Hello, Sam. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Quite tired, but I'm always good.
Excellent, excellent. I like to hear that you're tired. I dislike to hear that you're good.
As always, Pierre. I know you're just a demon for tiredness, aren't you?
Exactly. I siphon it out of you. It feeds me. So tell us a little about your character and maybe something a little bit about this mission that you've been set on.
Yeah, sure. So my character is Alice Zhao. She is a kind of short, stout woman of Asian heritage. Rather helpfully in the story, I rolled a ex-fisherman. So she's kind of wearing stained fishing overalls that were a long time ago yellow and a dark green. Well, it used to be dark green. It's probably like a pale, sickly green now from all the radioactive rain that's been upon it. Beanie with holes in. Perpetually impatient with everyone else, as probably most people are in this world, I suppose. She has a few other things like a folding grapnel and a big raincoat. I think we all have a raincoat, don't we, Pierre?
I mean, yeah, you'd have to be pretty foolish in this world of perpetual rain to not have at least some waterproofing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we started off with the four of us in a boat rowing to a place, and then we immediately went to flashbacks to kind of cut an intro to what's happening in this story and give a bit of background to how we got into the situation. So I'll start with mine because that's what's easiest to get in my head. I kind of got a bit of a flashback about the location. No, we'll start in order because it doesn't make sense to start with me because I got a flashback about a thing that. Anyway, who was it who got the first one? It was Chris. Yes, Chris, who is what was Fredo's character. Yeah, Fredo.
Indeed, our resident heist master.
Exactly, was basically approached to ask about the to give information about this heist they're asked to go on to get a helicopter from the tower called the title of this story.
Lustrum Tower, indeed.
Thank you.
Smooth as butter.
Oh, absolutely. You wouldn't even. I've clearly done my reading. Yeah, from Lustrum Tower, which is a dangerous place full of a gang, which we don't know much else about. But yeah, getting this helicopter was worth a lot of money. So that was the objective. Then we had a flashback. I think it was me then. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That I basically had gone a little bit earlier, knowing that I was going to go on this mission to have a look at the tower from a distance. I found out that it was a lot of floors. Like, was it like 70 or 50 floors? It was a lot.
There were 50 above the water.
That's right.
That is one of the features of Lustrum Tower. Is pretty damn submerged.
Yeah.
This whole region is flooded, and yeah.
So 20 below, 50 above.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was having a look at they're clearly watching us. I could tell that it was well secured. There's lots of stuff going on, but there's also like a dock at the bottom with like a market. So kind of thought that we could go and land there safely and then figure things out from there. Couldn't see anything above at the very top. But kind of found out a little bit of information about like the distinctions of the different sections, like, the public area with the market and then the gang. And then there was like the exiles at the top. Which is there's other people we have to get by to get to the helicopter.
I mean, perhaps exiles are exiles and aren't necessarily the most organized and scary thing. I think it is fair to say that the Firehose gang are in charge of they control the ebb and flow of Lustrum Tower.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we also had a quick flashback with Matt's character, Isaac, who is kind of a medic, an ex-medic. Well, he's still a medic, I suppose. And he was just checking a guy out who had some kind of bad bruising on his ribs, and he'd been to Lustrum Tower as well to try and find out about this helicopter and see if he could steal it. And basically, he found out that scavengers who have been trying to steal from the Firehose gang have not been treated well. Was kind of the sum of that. It's good to know, I suppose. And then we had Jack's character.
He was smoking a cigarette in the rain.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the name of Jack's character, but it's not going to come back to me. Hank. Is that it?
Indeed.
Yes. I'm proud of myself. Hank, who found a guy who was smoking a cigarette in the rain, and basically it fled the tower after some terrible stuff happening. And he was told a bit about the leader of the Firehose gang and maybe a bit of the structure as well, which is quite useful to find out, and that they were ruthless, which is we kind of already knew.
Indeed, and yes, this man had left a brother in the tower, and that is how he had escaped. He was an exile himself. And yes, you've beautifully summed it up from
Flawless.
It was one of the first things that happened. So I appreciate it's somewhat difficult, and you also have to do it without seeing any of the names of the people, which
I know.
But yes, so this was the event, and you were also told about the sort of unfortunate structure of things, where the helicopter required keys that were in a sub-basement.
Oh yeah, that's important.
the vault in the sub-basement maybe has its code somewhere in the penthouses. And I think, as Matt previously described, it was a sort of up, down, up kind of job.
Yeah.
Going through the territory of the Firehose gang at least twice. So
probably 3 times, unless we could think of a cleverer way of doing it. Well, maybe. And also, the down part is down as in underwater down, and if it's a sub-basement, it's down like more than 20 floors, which is a pretty devastating concept. So that sounds fun.
Yeah, well, to speak about how you guys approached through the fog, I think we should bring on the man, the myth, the legend, Matt.
Just a man.
As if by magic.
Just a man. Just an innocent man. So just to describe my character, as you guys said, Isaac is a medic, and he's a fairly sort of iconoclastic, slightly intimidating figure. He's tall, he's gaunt, he wears kind of a long, kind of dark, slicker coat most of the time, and he's generally pretty. He's very team oriented, but he's also pretty unfriendly. So he can cut quite an intimidating figure. We rode from our kind of home base to Lustrum Tower. Nothing really kind of happened on the way other than us kind of discussing the various elements of what we'd found out about it. As we approached it, we were aware we were being watched, but no one kind of called out like a warning, like we just could row straight up to it, basically, to this floor that was the 21st floor.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, that was effectively the lowest floor of like a 5-floor marketplace.
Yeah,
where
like
lots
a
of people
shanty
come.
Town kind of.
Yeah, lots of people come and they trade and so on and so forth, and it's all controlled by the gang, by the Firehose gang. And essentially, we came up with the plan of others would go off and do reconnaissance of various kinds, and to give a rationale for why we were here that wouldn't make people kind of like suspicious, Isaac set up a kind of like medicing stall where he'd take bullets off people in exchange for like looking over them and, going, no, it's not broken, or I can't do anything about that, or whatever, which turned out mostly to be I can't do anything about that. But there we go. And while he was doing this, Hank helped him and kind of like talked to the people queuing to get a bit of info. Zhao went off just kind of generally wandering, and Fredo did the kind of hardcore reconnaissance.
Indeed, and perhaps we should bring on the man himself, Chris. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm doing okay.
You
So,
describe a little bit about about Fredo and what you got up to, casing the joint.
Yeah, so Fredo isn't actually like a professional bank robber, but he's definitely semi-professional. He was in his before the moistness. Fredo was actually in academia and climatology, and saw all this coming, and decided to basically, as civilization fell, he was just one step ahead and got pretty good at kind of rustling and holding up billionaires and just getting his hands on stuff. But after a period of time, he's kind of in this job now and trying to diversify into more useful skills. But once again, the door was knocked and he was sent out to do some larceny. So he took it upon himself to case the joint because he actually gets a bonus for that's one of the things I can do if it's related to heistery. I get a little bit of a buff to my dice rolls, and had kind of just gone around and just tried to get the lay of the lands. And after a bit of a look down to see if there was anything interesting below us, which is difficult because it's all wet. On the was it the 34th floor? He discovered an old sealed elevator, which didn't go any lower, but definitely went higher. And as anyone who's ever seen any kind of action movie knows, getting in elevators where there aren't elevators is how you move around buildings when the stakes are high. So that was the plan, basically. Yeah.
Ideal. Well, to round this off, what happened next? We shall bring on Jack.
Hello.
Hello.
So yeah, what happened next was sort of as we were finishing up, or as Hank and Isaac were medicing and schmoozing, we started hearing shouts from what's that character's name? Oh, I can't quite remember. Sam plays them. Alex.
Yeah.
I got it. It just took me a
Alice.
moment. Oh, it's unnecessary.
I think he got you just there, Sam.
Did make a friend. I can't quite remember what conversation happened with a friend, other than you were carrying some canisters with them.
I think there was an option to get some
Indeed.
diving equipment if we needed
Yes,
it.
there was, and they sort of warned you or gave you a heads up that if you noticed anything to report it to their guard friend Chris.
Yeah. They were very chummy with the guards.
They were very chummy with the guards, but they were very chummy with Alice as well. You know, they were very, I mean, Alice did help them carry a bunch of heavy stuff, so that probably helped.
It was certainly chummier than Isaac's relationship with the guard.
Isaac's
Which is basically staring at him with cold, dead eyes until he walked away.
Yeah, that guard tried to extort you a little bit, and Isaac was having none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of while that was going on, and then while Fredo was casing the joint and we were medicing, then it seemed like there was some sort of altercation happening. Fortunately, in the opposite direction to what we wanted to go. And as guns started getting drawn and fired, we sort of took advantage of the crowd running one way to run the other, or people running the same direction as us away from the gunshots.
Yeah.
Basically, in the confusion, to sort of make our way to this elevator shaft, snuck up to it, and I think we finished as we sort of prized it open. I think it was.
Yep, absolutely. Yes. You and Fredo were just like jimmying the doors open, using your various tools. And
yeah, I think it was an ice pick and a wrench. I think
an ice pick and a wrench.
Yes,
and I think
famous combination.
You like slipped and fell, and perhaps we shall pick up there. So as sort of Hank falls to the ground, the wrench kind of clatters on the floor, but overall you don't see anything too much, and the door is now wide enough. The door to the shaft is now wide enough that you can squeeze through, Fredo. You were hearing, just as we ended last session, there was the vague sort of sound of like yelling or something, like a loud, like not loud, like and now that you're listening, you can hear it's kind of coming from, like, it's echoing off the walls of the elevator shaft. If you look into the elevator shaft, you can see that even though there don't seem to be doors on the floors below this, the shaft actually does keep going. There's a cable in the middle that goes all the way down, as far as you can see, to probably like some blackness right at the bottom, which might well be the water. So yeah, I guess, what do you do?
Are there like
I'm going to
ladders?
well aware that we are still on the clock. I'm going to try and get myself in there and then find the safety ladder, find the way that this is kind of, find the accessibility option here and see what I can do about making it safe enough to get everyone in.
Yep. So there is like one of these very, very thin, not particularly designed for, it's not very comfortable ladder, but yeah, there is like a kind of rusty looking safety ladder that appears to go up at least a little way. Do you get into the elevator shaft and try?
100%. Yeah, I'm trying to kind of move everyone in there so that we can't be spotted once we're in the shaft, basically. So what I'm trying to do is to very, very quickly mental arithmetic a way to get 4 people in here safely.
Okay. Yep. It's probably possible to do reasonably quickly. As you sort of enter the elevator shaft, it smells very kind of damp and kind of musty. Like it's pretty unpleasant. Although as you look up, there are it's dark, obviously. Apart from, there are like these two, there's one like slit of light from a floor, maybe 2 or 3 floors up, or maybe slightly more, that's kind of projecting light onto the wall. And then there's one a few floors higher than that is also, providing a small amount of light. So evidently there is something going, like, they're not fully open doors. They're maybe partially open. So you're going to try and get people in as quickly as possible. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm being gotten in as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Yeah. I will maybe go last to try and just make sure no one sees us. I'm trying to keep an eye out to check.
Yeah, although Isaac will murmur that the moment they see that the doors to this elevator shaft are open, they will know that someone's where they shouldn't be.
Yeah, they've been tracking the nature of the shafts. Okay, so right. So who... Actually, I think what I want is a set of lungs rolls from each of you, with the understanding that Zhao is going to go last and ensure that people are, but I just want to sort of see how quickly you manage to make it into the shaft.
Yeah, I did not roll well.
Neither did I.
Neither did I.
Okay, right. Well, you guys hustle as well as you can, but unfortunately, because you weren't able to fully like jimmy the door open very wide, while Fredo is used to sort of crawling through tight spaces, he managed to make it through relatively unscathed. It's like really quite hard to angle, and you end up having to sort of force it slightly wider, which takes a bit more time to get everyone through. And in that time, it's taking. Nevertheless, you don't see. So I'm guessing that, Fredo, are you going up in order to make room for everyone else? Because there's, it's just it's just a drop basically if you're not on the ladder. Yeah. So
yeah, if there's no cross braces, that's the only option.
I mean, there are, but they're like every. I assume you mean like there's like a lip every floor kind of thing. So you
Well, there must be
can
somewhere
possibly...
like if there's some kind of scaffold. But look, it's fine. I will. The goal is everyone in here as quick as possible.
Okay.
We'll work out the details later.
All right. So I'll say who was. So Isaac, were you second, or Hank?
Yeah, Hank could be second.
Isaac's happy being second, but it depends who Fredo hustled in first.
Yeah. I say it doesn't
We're
really
probably-
matter, but the fact you're asking sounds ominous.
It
We're
matters.
probably waiting on. Isaac thinks that Fredo is the expert on this, so he was following his lead.
Okay, so I
we'll
think-
have waited for Fredo to. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to get everyone in apart from... It's going to be Alice still on the outside when she hears a voice that she vaguely recognizes, who says, Samantha. And she...
I'm immediately standing up. I'm looking like I just dropped something and just looking for it on the ground.
And you are approached by the man who introduced himself as Anthony, who you helped to carry the scuba
Oxygen
kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the oxygen canisters.
Yeah.
Not a full scuba kit.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have any canisters on him.
I'm stepping away from the thing now, just let's go this way, not looking at that anymore.
Okay, so you're going to try and sort of meet him and kind of
immediately
distract.
moving in his direction.
Cool. Okay, I think he's going to say he's going to approach you, and he's going to say, "Did you hear the gunshots? I don't think it's safe here."
Yeah, I heard. I moved up here because I didn't want to be involved in any of that. Do you know what happened?
I didn't see it, but a friend of mine said someone was shot. It wasn't a warning shot. People don't waste bullets. He's gonna sort of his eyes, you notice, are sort of drifting to your left.
Yeah. I'm not, as soon as he's not looking at me, I'm like, are we okay then? I'm gonna be moving in that direction to see if I can look over the barrier, see what's going on below.
He sort of follows, and he looks over at the barrier, and he goes, "Look, I know I told you earlier that it's safe-ish down in this kind of market area, but really, I would feel so bad if someone I knew, had any trouble. I know. Oh, he's over there, and she points at her friend with the crossbow, Christopher.
I move it just any way I can move as far away from this lift shaft as possible, while also not seeming shifty. I'm doing it.
I can probably get you through if you want to. Normally you'd have to pay, but I think I can probably cover for both of us.
Really?
Isaac is starting to look at Fredo with some significance of we have to make a decision about whether we're just going. And we're going to be down a Zhao for this part of the thing. He's conveying all that with his eyes.
In the dark, yeah. At some point, I'm going to no longer be able to hear Alice, but I think I will. There's a good chance I caught the gist of what was going on.
I think you've caught. So I think because you were the first in, you won't have really. You'd have heard some muffled voices. Isaac and Hank have both heard. Isaac has definitely heard it. Hank has heard most of it. You have probably detected that Zhao has not come in when you would have expected her to enter.
I'm going to start climbing to put a bit of distance between us and the danger gap.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I reply positively to the guy who's chatting with me, just oh, that's so kind of you, and thanking him.
Okay. Well,
As soon as Isaac hears that, he's gonna like tap Hank and like do everything but stop pushing on
Yeah,
Hank's
yeah.
head.
This is
Right.
definitely Zhao saying, for the
We
love
need
of
to
God,
just go.
don't just go. I'm not coming in there now.
Yeah.
So yeah, Anthony starts walking with you towards one of the stairs, and where a man who looks absolutely feral with a crossbow, with a really wide look in his eye, wild look in his eyes.
Can I have a vibe check now? Is Anthony just trying to lead me into a corner to murder me?
Is Anthony trying to lead you into a corner to murder me? Let's.
I mean, I don't have
have
anything
a
valuable
roll.
on me, so I don't see why he'd do that. But
Let's have a roll for that. I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's roll against your brains.
sure, will do. 87. No.
No. You get the impression that Anthony might know something about you. Like, you're like, wait a second. When he glanced over, he sort of changed his tone a little bit. So and like, why is he being so suddenly kind? All you did was help him out.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's your vibe check.
Okay.
Is
It's
you're
not
not
enough
feeling
to
good
make me
about
run
this.
off, so I'll go with it for now and see what happens.
Okay, you're gonna go with it. Right. Let's join the other three in the elevator shaft. I keep wanting to say lift shaft because I'm just like British brained. And you, as you climb up, Fredo, you probably are the first to hear the kind of what the yelling is. It sounds like you're hearing, like, in between conversations, there's like a thud, and it's kind of apparent that somebody is like in a fight, maybe, or getting beat up. And you hear like snippets of conversation. You hear, I know you've got other friends here. Tell me where your other fucking friends are. And sort of somewhat slurred, less understandable voice kind of go, I don't know what you're talking about. There's my friends. I don't have any friends. And then you hear like another like wet like crack of maybe a fist or something, and the man kind of yelping in pain. What do you do?
Can we get some Fs in chat for Sam, who's about to get some really moist interrogation? Once I've put, so I suppose one problem at a time. Once I've put like a little bit of distance between, kind of, once we've got like maybe half a floor, maybe a bit more than half a floor up, I'll try and get Hank to whisper to Hank, like, what happened? Where's Alice?
I don't know, some guy took her, but in like a friendly way, not in a "you're coming with me now" way.
Where did they go?
I don't know. I couldn't quite. Isaac, did you hear where they went?
He led her off somewhere. I'm not sure. I couldn't get a read on the situation.
And then passed up the chain. Hank goes, he led her soft hair.
Fredo, I think you mostly heard what Isaac said, so you're pretty sure he didn't say he led a soft hair.
Oh crap! There's trouble above us. I think we have to keep going up. If we're caught here, I don't think it's going to end well for us.
We are in danger of being made as the accomplices of whatever else is going on. But if we're smart, we can use this as a distraction instead of a complication.
I think up's the only choice. I think, Isaac, if you have any better ideas, I think it's up. The only way is up.
Alice didn't sound like in immediate danger, so we don't have to do a grand rescue or anything, I don't think. Let's just carry on before
She's a smart cookie. She'll be
we're
fine.
the ones
Let's
that need
go.
rescuing.
Okay, so
So-
as you,
Yeah,
assume
I
you're now
think my next port of call is going to be the first kind of light gap, which I assume might coincide with the interrogation chamber noises.
you can do a brains roll to determine if you think that's the case.
Yeah, okay, let me do that.
To locate, because it's quite hard to hear because there's quite a lot of echoing off the walls.
No chance. God, this D100 is hard.
Indeed, especially if you don't have an advantage in the area.
Yeah, which I don't
So-
anymore. I'm not counting it.
You are not sure. You're not sure if it's coming from there or if it's coming from the one higher. Although as you get closer, maybe you get a certain you're maybe like 60-40 that it's coming from the top one. And actually, as you're climbing higher, you're not quite yet at the first light gap when you hear the continuing sort of brutalization of this man is abruptly stopped, and you hear a female voice saying, "What are you doing here, Mr. Wilson? What have I told you?" And the sort of gruff voice kind of, no, "I didn't rough him up too much. He can still give us valuable information." He can barely talk. "Listen, friend, what's your name?" "Michael." And he like spits something on the floor, maybe. Now, why don't you tell us exactly who you came here with? It will end so much better for you if you would just tell us. I can't. Mr. Wilson, I think he needs a little more convincing. And you start to hear a sort of screeching of metal. And can I have a brains roll? I think it's brains. Yeah, can I have a brains roll from the three of you that are in the elevator?
I mean, this is to detect which elevator doors are being opened to hold him over the watery void, isn't it? No.
Okay, Fredo, you can tell that it is the upper set of doors that are being pulled open. What do you do?
So, like, there's two ajar, kind of like slightly open doors, right, above us, and this is like the upper one is being pulled aside.
The
presumably to
upper ones
hold
are being
it.
pulled.
Yeah.
How close am I to the lower set of doors?
You reckon you could probably scrabble there in time if you were quick?
Oh, God, it's a frying pan and a fire, but it's just all wetness. It's like a broiling pan and a kettle.
Have we?
I don't know. I think I'm going for it.
How moist is this shaft? Don't.
There's like the occasional dripping.
Oh, he
and
killed Chris.
Yeah, we have destroyed Chris. The handholds are a little bit like damp and slippy, but you're not getting like rained on.
We're not getting wet value.
Yeah, you're not getting wet levels by being in this.
This stat is a minefield, folks, of how to talk about it.
It is, but you're doing valiantly, Matt, in a way that definitely has not broken Chris. So Fredo, I want you to do a lungs roll to see whether you can like make it to that gap.
Come on, one good roll, please.
I think you can also.
Oh yes.
Okay, excellent. So I take it you failed that roll.
No, that was a 16, and I needed a more than 16, 20-something, 30-something.
Brilliant. Okay, you manage to scuttle up to that smaller gap, lower gap, The other two of you see Fredo sort of, he was going at a sort of steady pace, and then he just like kicked it into gear, and started like going as hard as he could upwards. I guess actually Hank gets to decide first, because based on like he's next in the list in the elevator.
I think not really knowing what's going on, he's going to follow Fredo's lead and try and book it up the ladder as well. So is that a lunge roll?
Yeah, that'll also be a lungs roll for you.
Hey, 19. So under 35.
Okay.
Hey.
I do not like being the last person when everyone else has made the roll.
Especially when they're as unlikely as they are in this system. Oh.
Yeah, and actually this one's getting harder because the distance you've got to travel is longer and you've got less time to react. So, Hank, you follow very rapidly in Fredo's footsteps. Now, I guess the question is, Isaac, do you?
I mean,
make
you
your
say
lungs
it's
roll?
you.
Or are you doing that? Are you doing
When
something
you
different?
say it's getting harder, do you actually mean there's a mod? Because there's no mention of modifiers in the rulebook, Pierre.
There are
so
no-
I don't. But are you going to apply some kind of modifier to this?
I won't apply a Well, okay. Actually, what I should do is ask you what you want to do. What is it that you want to do, Matt? Like, I won't fudge the rules. I might just say it's impossible for you to get there, or
Right.
You know,
If
I think it
I
actually
say
is.
that, if it is impossible though,
Mhm.
are you going to tell me that and let me try something else, or like, do I think it's possible to get to there before the shaft opens up further above? Although I say that, I don't know that the thing is opening further above, do I?
But
all right. I don't know. I don't know what the danger is because I didn't make the brains roll. Ergo, yes, I'm going to carry on. I'm going to climb up as fast as possible after Hank.
Okay. I still actually want you to make the lungs roll.
Okay. Well, I rolled 8. So
okay.
Not
so
that
that's
this
success.
has graded successes, but for what it's worth.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So, Isaac, you book it like really fast, but there are two people ahead of you, and that does slow you down somewhat. And they are like less.
Can I not climb over Hank and kind of like kick him?
Just kick him down. Yeah.
Look, his screaming, tumbling form. It will be a great distraction for me. No, of course I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah. But it's nice to imagine sometimes.
It's always nice to imagine.
Yeah. So you like go as fast as you can, and actually, all three of you are going really quick. Hank, like Fredo, makes it into the lift, the elevator like door area. Hank makes it onto the sort of lip just before, and he's kind of scrabbling through. And it's at that moment where like Isaac has his first hand on the edge of that doorway. That that a man is held out, like a man who is covered in blood and bruises, a man who looks extremely sort of drowsy and like is barely conscious, and yeah, like a single drip of his blood kind of falls down the shaft, coming off of his nose and onto your face, Isaac.
So how much does that increase my wet?
It does not increase your wet at all. Okay. It's not an amount of, it's like a drip, which you immediately can ignore. But yes, he's kind of held out and he's like drowsy, and he kind of like looks down for the briefest of seconds, and then kind of the man holding him is just like, tell us what you know, tell us. And he's like, and he kind of starts gesturing towards you, Isaac. I'm guessing, like, what do you do, actually?
How
You
far
can-
above me are they?
They are. Let me just double check. So I think they're about 5 or so floors. No, less than that. Like
I was
4
gonna say,
floors
how-
above you.
Oh wow, he can see us from that distance.
You can see
Okay.
something
Right,
moving down.
sure. Okay, well, if they were the floor above me, Isaac was actually going to try and climb up and pull both of them down. Like,
A
4
bold
floors.
move.
There is zero chance that he
Yeah.
can climb 4 floors in the time it takes the poor unfortunate guy to go.
Yeah,
I
no.
mean, you say
so-
he's gaunt. I mean, how gaunt are we talking?
Not sufficiently gaunt to be pulled from 4
not
floors up.
Sufficiently. No, I think Fredo meant me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
at-
4 floors is too much. I think. Like,
Yeah.
he's gonna because he seems to be indicating towards us. Which, if he wasn't doing that, I'd be tempted to still try it. But I don't think it's feasible. So I'm just gonna pull myself over the edge and. I mean, what's he gonna say? There's something down there, and the guy's gonna go, "Oh, really? Thanks for the security alert, friend."
Yeah.
So I'm just going to pull myself over the lip and follow the others.
Okay, so you just hear the last thing you hear as you sort of are climbing up is the guy saying, "There's someone down," and then the guy's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then, like, just the faintest thing that you hear is, "Hold on, repeat that for me." And then, do you progress further in, or?
I don't see there's any option now.
Sure. Okay. So
I'm amazed they're taking security tips from someone they're torturing, but we'll roll with it.
Mostly they're ignoring the hard man seemed to ignore it, but the female voice seemed to have like a very like concise, intelligent tone to her. So let's cut back to our friend Alice.
All going
What
swimmingly.
are you doing, Alice?
Great turn of phrase.
So Anthony is leading you. Meanwhile, Anthony is leading you towards this security guard individual with the crossbow.
I'm like ready to just run at a moment's notice, but I'm trying to show none of it and just walking calmly as if this is all just him helping me.
Okay. Are you looking for like so you're looking for an opportunity to get out of eyesight of both of them? Is that the idea, or
Is there just the one guard?
as far as you can see, yeah, there's just this one guy. And yeah,
is he like is he like leading me into like a closed-in corner somewhere, or is it like an open area?
Is Tony leading you into a closed-in corner? You can kind of like he's leading you towards a kind of open area, and you can kind of see at the end of the open area, there's various kind of civilians kind of lined up towards some stairs, and then there's like a couple of guards next to the door.
Okay, so that kind of follows Tony's story.
Yeah, it does. It does seem like, and like the guard with the crossbow is sort of off to the right. Is not one of the two guards standing next to the the thing.
Do the civilians look like they're being held under duress?
No, the civilians are like some of them are kind of looking a bit nervously around. You can see that they're like little clink, like they're putting some bullets into like a sort of container next to the guards, and then they're being admitted entry. So and the guards are sort of, if they're carrying anything on them, the guards are kind of doing a sort of rudimentary search through the backpacks and waterproof satchels. The area in general kind of has a very sort of sterile kind of smell to it.
Okay, I think I'm going to go with it. I think it doesn't seem like I'm being taken into a corner to be killed right now, and this might be a way of progressing that's hopefully not immediately resulting in me being interrogated. Let's go with it. Does it look like their weapons are being taken from them, by the way, the civilians?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, that's good news. Yeah,
Although
I'll just be
they are
continuing.
searching bags for something.
I don't think I've got anything else on me that's particularly dodgy, if more so than a weapon.
Okay, so you're going to continue. Tony sort of, Anthony kind of indicates his friend Chris, and you approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll just see what happens.
Chris kind of, Christopher, I should call him Christopher just to differentiate him from our Chris. Christopher looks at you, looks you up and down, and goes, "Who's this?" This is my friend, Alice.
Samantha.
Shit, yes. Samantha. He does not know you're Alice.
Mm-hmm.
And why have you brought Samantha to me? Well, you see, I thought that you know, since we're friends, I thought you could, like, you know, let us in together. You know, I know she's not been around, but for very long. But you know, can you roll brains, please?
Sure. I'm going to be like, I can be helpful as a thing as well.
Okay.
Oh my god, 72. I don't think this is anything to do with being a sailor, so I don't think I can get that.
Okay, yeah. You don't notice anything about, like, you don't notice the little exchange that goes on between the two, but you can hear what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He goes, "Oh, okay, all right."
Oh, this is so bad. Well, if I don't notice it, I don't notice it.
Well, I mean, you can hear that thing, and you can infer whatever you like from that. And they begin to take you towards the.
I mean, I'm not running away immediately in front of all this lot, so go on.
I mean, you know, as you're sort of. There's quite a lot of people kind of bustling around this area. Like there's this queue, but then there's also like a few people kind of trying to jump the queue and trying to be like, no, please let me in first. Please let me in first. And then like others are kind of, you know, you don't think it would be impossible to slip away if a distraction happened. I'm just saying you don't have to follow this man.
So does it seem like they're going up into the place controlled by the fire hoses gang, presumably?
Yeah, you definitely, like, the two guards are at like the entrance to a stairway, and yeah, you've ended up on you know, you've gone up already one floor, and you're like,
okay,
yeah.
I think I would like to push Anthony a little bit just to try and, if he's really just selling me out to the guards, get him to look a bit shifty and I can pick it up. Or if he's not selling me out to the guards, tell me the truth of where we're going.
Okay. So what are you asking him? Or what do you say?
I guess I'm just going to try and be like really naive and innocent and just be like, oh, thanks so much for helping me out. It's really kind of you. I didn't know where I was going to stay tonight. Oh, it's really scary down there. And just, if he is selling me out, just notice a hint of guilt on his face. That's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah. He goes, yeah, I know it's really hard to find a place to stay. You know, maybe like, since you don't have anywhere in particular, you probably don't want to stay in the mess halls. I have like my own little private area if you wanted to, you know, the offer's open.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'll go with this.
Okay, fine. You walk up to the entrance. He whispers something in one of the guards' ears and then sort of gestures over to Chris, and that guard looks very worried. Sorry, Christopher. And that guard looks very worried and then like admits you up. So you've skipped the queue. Okay,
Oh,
and
gosh.
on that note, we will cut back to Isaac,
a
Hank,
mess.
and Fredo. So as you enter through the doors, you are in a really dark room. It takes a few seconds to get used to the kind of the how dark it is. The only source of illumination is there's like a boarded up window that's kind of smashed through, and outside of it you can see that maybe there's some scaffolding that is attached to the building. This is the opposite side to the side that you approached on the boat, if you're kind of keeping track of where the sun is and that kind of thing. The room, as you kind of you get used to it, smells of, you know, dust, and it looks like there's just like collapsed bit filing cabinets. It looks like it was an office, you know, one of those open plan kind of maze-like offices where, you know, each cubicle has got these things that are kind of chest height kind of thing. Yeah, and there's papers all over the floor. The wind kind of chills you as it blows in through the open. It's not a window, but through the open hole in the side of the building. On the other side, like again, on the opposite side away from you, on the left is that open hole, and on the right is that is like another set of stairs where you can hear some movement coming from up above. But yeah, there's like a few puddles, and the drizzle from outside is coming in through the open gash in the side of the building. What do you do?
Again, it's just following Fredo's lead. This is his shit.
Yeah, great. Start shoveling. I'm being very quiet for a minute once everyone's kind of on terra firma and just listening to hear what's happening from the shaft, what's happening up the stairs, and if there's any other kind of signs of, hey, what are you doing there? Stop or I'll shoot. From the vicinity as well. So just casing the joint.
Okay. Yeah, you roll some brains, please.
Oh, this is so stressful.
How slowly are you moving in order to stay quiet?
I'm not moving. I'm just kind of everyone's just standing still, and that is a success.
Okay. You hear like the sound of the people from higher up kind of quieten down. And if you're all kind of silent, you just hear, "Thank you." And then a man screams and something falls very fast from outside the door.
I'm assuming the scream like Dopplers past us.
Yeah. And you hear like a loud metallic bang and then a splash. But on a success, you also notice underneath a couple of sort of like folders that just sort of look like they'd spilled out of a filing cabinet. There's like a small, like metal, like weird kind of metal kind of paddle. And on closer inspection, it looks like some kind of bear trap. What do you do?
Do you know anything about traps?
Isaac's gonna shake his head mutely. I can't imagine why he would.
Well, rat traps.
I think a bit bigger than a rat.
yeah, it'd be a hell of a rat that you'd need that sort of trap for. But
Okay, I'm
it
also
hard?
happy for Hank to have a sort of look, or
yeah,
know.
I mean, I don't know the main differences between a bear trap and a rat trap other than
Scale,
size.
mostly, I'd say. Yeah.
But yeah, I figured maybe
Yeah,
idea
like
is something steps on it, something closes or snaps down. I mean,
you have some experience in sort of mechanisms and things like that.
yeah, I mean, it's avoidable. I'm guessing if we
Yeah.
noticed it now.
Absolutely.
I don't think Hank will feel the need to try and disarm it and
Sure.
put himself at risk if we know
okay.
it's there and we can avoid it fairly easy.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you guys do?
Do we steal it? It might be useful. Can you disarm it? Have you seen this? Like,
yeah, I mean, if we want to steal it, I can give it a go.
Okay. Yeah, roll to disarm the bear trap.
Yeah, are we adding custodian plus 20
Yeah.
onto this? I think.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
guessing
kind
that'd
of
be
mechanical
brains.
in nature.
Yeah,
And you are a person who is skilled with your
with his hands and yeah.
and repairing.
Hey, even without the advantage, 31 under a 36. So
very nice. Okay, you can add a bear trap to your inventory, or you can give it to somebody else if you like.
I mean, in terms of sort of inventory, I'm pushing up against the top limit of what I can actually carry. I don't know if anyone's got any.
It's not huge. It like you think that if you got caught in it, it would hurt, but you don't think it would just like cut off your leg. It's not a massive thing.
I can stand to take it if you've no space.
Yeah, I'll hand it off to Fredo. And
right.
Okay.
Do we go back up? Like, it sounded like
it did sound like we were done.
It sounded like we're done. It sounded like your woman's onto us, but I don't know if she's going to check the shaft twice. Do we just abandon this and continue up?
I mean, it's whether they believed him if he was pointing incoherently down at the shaft, but
I don't think we have time to debate this. Are we going or are we leaving?
I think we're going up. What's the setup for this bear trap? Is it complex? Is it hefty?
No, looks pretty simple. Looks like, set the primer, open it up. Very simple.
Right. So I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to set the rat trap, the bear trap, kind of near where someone would kind of run in here to inspect the room. I'm going to set it up, and I'm going to cover it with kind of some of those folders, maybe from the other thing, so it's disguised. Sure. And I'm then going to take out my climbing harness and rope, and I'm going to move back towards the shaft, and we're going to do it again, going up, but we're going to do it a little bit more professionally now. I've had a second to not be in panic mode, so I'm going to put myself in the harness, and I'm going to kind of get everyone else to, if not tie into the rope, then at least brace on it, so we can all kind of travel a bit more.
Isaac is going to look at your climbing gear, look at the elevator shaft, and then look over at the smashed window on the outer side of the Lustrum Tower, and say, "Are we sure we still want to use the shaft?"
I'll take a look at the boarded up gap. I assume. What can I see about the extremities?
So you can see there are a few. Like, it does look like scaffolding, although it's maybe a little more rickety than you might get in. Like, it looks like it's been constructed since the start of the apocalypse, as opposed to before it. It does look kind of jimmied together. Maybe they're trying to repair this like massive hole in the side of the building and make this room, because now that you're noticing it, this room is really cold because the wind which is now starting to pick up, is like blowing pretty heavily through. You wonder if there was some sort of, explosive that made that gap or something like that. You're not really sure. Do you want to get closer to it? Because you'll have to sort of navigate your way through this kind of.
I'm concerned. I'm going to actually voice this. There was already one trap set up here. It looks like if we have to get over to that doorway or that window or that gap, we're likely to encounter others. It's cold out there. That scaffolding doesn't look secure. I'm going to stay dry, and we're going to stay in the shaft. That's my part anyway. Anyone else agree?
Isaac will just nod. Well, Fredo is the expert. It's his decision.
Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
So how long before
Of course, I was waiting for Alice, but you're in a whole different kettle of problems.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the decision made. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to set up a kind of climbing harness. I'm going to kind of be the counterweight. So I'm going to be at the top. I'm going to loop the rope over the next rung of the ladder. Everyone else is going to have the option to brace against the rope, which should kind of cut down on the risk. And we're going to start climbing again.
Okay, perfect. You just before you go out, you do hear somebody say, "Nope, I can't see anyone," and then I assume you continue.
Oh, bullet dodged.
Now let's go back to Alice. So, what are you doing?
I just want to say how much Alice hates this right now. So Anthony is obviously coming onto her, and it's awful. She hates every single thing about it, and she just wants to punch him in the face. But she's going to encourage him because it gets her inside to where she thinks she might want to go, and it's awful.
Okay, so you've now bypassed the guards, and you notice that after you've got through those initial layers of security, actually there aren't a huge number of people here. Like there are a few civilians, but also like you can't even see any guards as far as you can tell. Like no one looks like a heavy around here. You enter sort of you go up through the stairs, and then you enter a kind of a corridor. It looks like maybe this is a kind of converted mess hall or something.
So Anthony said he had somewhere private. I will happily encourage him to take me there because the less people that are around, the better for me. Ugh. Basically, from my perspective, if there's no obvious guards around, the only person I need to deal with to get out of this situation is Anthony, if I can get other people out of my view.
Okay. He seems like increasingly enthusiastic and takes you up another set of floors, and you notice that there are fewer and fewer people. You pass through these you pass through what is all of these things. They were government offices, but they're now kind of converted into a mess hall, sleeping quarters for large numbers of guards. And then he takes you to like this sort of kind of it's not like a luxury thing, but it actually is somewhat. It's clear that like he's spent a bit of money to get some privacy, because around here you don't. He spent some bullets to get some privacy. And he's just like, it's been so long. Oh, great. And you are totally alone. And he's sort of nervously fiddling with some keys on a padlock.
Stop making me feel bad.
And he's like turning his, he turns his back and he's like, no, this normally works. And he's trying to with the keys.
I genuinely have to now I feel a little bit bad for Anthony, even though he's a creep. I want to roll to decide whether Alice is mean or not mean, because she would feel a bit bad about it.
Mean?
There is no mean stat.
Mean?
Whether I'm going to kill him or not kill him.
The level of violence you intend to do.
I think you're going a bit soft on a guy who's offering to exchange sex for your safety.
Well, if it's any consolation, I rolled the mean one. So I
Okay.
quietly reach for my large, heavy metal grappling hook, and
Okay.
then try and whack him over the back of the head with it as hard as I can.
Okay. God. Yeah, that's quite a brutal thing. I'm basically determining whether you should roll for this or whether it's just. How heavy is the thing?
I think it's quite a heavy weapon. It's not a long. It's one of those fold up grappling hook things.
And he's
use
not
for boats.
ready.
It's very short, so it's
If
not a long
you-
weapon. But,
If you want my gut read on what I do, Pierre,
Mhm.
just because we both have the same amount of experience with the system,
Yeah.
I would do a combat roll, but a failure doesn't mean nothing, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
A failure
that
still
makes
means
sense.
he's been whacked over the back of the head, but not necessarily in an injury table kind of a way, right?
Yeah. Let's see what happens. So roll your. I think this is going to be like lungs. This is like how hard you hit him.
Cool. Yep, that's a 7. That's a success.
Okay. That was just a 7.
Yep.
Uh,
It's under my wet and it's above my wet and under my lung by a large margin.
okay. Yes, but with fights you want high numbers.
Oh, I see. Sorry, that wasn't just.
You want high, but not over.
High
your-
but below. So
that's-
I should probably explain the mechanics for the people at home. The way it works is you want to roll under your lungs in the case of a melee attack. And then the tens dice determines where you hit on the person, and the ones dice determines the severity. So
Yeah. So I got a 0 on the tens dice.
a 0
when-
is severity grazed, and a 7 is upper
7.
torso.
Okay.
So I think this is like a glancing blow.
Maybe it's because I'm questioning myself. 'cause-
So basically, what happens is he is like, "Oh, I'm so excited! This is going to be so." And then he's like, "I'm really sorry," and he turns just as you are like swinging down on him,
Mhm.
and you're and he tries to duck back, but he doesn't quite make it away. But his you scrape the front of his like the body with this thing, but it doesn't seem to have like really hurt him. You were hitting right where his head would have been like a second ago,
Mhm.
but you just slightly mistimed it, or
Okay.
your conscience got the better of you, and you
Well,
pulled
now he's
back a
turned
bit.
around. If I have time before he yells, I'm going to try and hit him again.
He doesn't actually yell out immediately. He like gets his keys and he tries to like hit you with them.
Okay, that's
I want
kind of
you
better
to-
than him yelling.
I think he sort of has like a kind of shocked gasp. I want you to roll again.
Mhm.
He is very surprised by this thing, and I will also roll for him. Oh, crikey! How good is
Yeah.
he? Yes.
Don't do this to me. Don't have me killed by keys.
Okay, he got a 20, which is ripped. Although actually that seems impossible because he got a 0 on his roll. Well, have you hit him?
Remember that a 0 is
0.
100, not 0.
Yeah, I got 20, as in
Oh, okay.
20.
20.
Yeah, when you go over the 0, that's why I had a 0. Yeah.
Which is a hit, but like I guess that'll count as 21.
It's a ripped head.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so he kind of goes for you, and like the keys kind of glance like off your cheek in a really like you can feel them digging into you, but it's like
At
not
least it's
that
only
powerful a
keys.
weapon.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
only keys.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it's like painful punch.
Okay. Yeah, I'm immediately swinging for him again. Now he's reaching
Okay.
towards me with a very short thing, which is keys. Hopefully I'll hit him this time.
Yeah, he kind of bundled them up in his fist.
Okay. Well. Yeah, no, that's an 80.
An 80. So you miss again,
Mhm.
and he's like, "What have you?"
Okay, I'm just gonna run.
And then he's like, "Security!" And you
Yeah.
hear like the shouts of security,
Yeah.
and on that we'll cut back to our climbing crew.
Okay, even better.
Meanwhile, you hear like a vague commotion, maybe. I'm just going to quickly roll a dice. 20. You guys are on, you were on like 34, and I think you've gone up maybe 7 or 8 floors at this point. You're nearly at the point, so you'd be 42. So what are you guys doing?
I think we're going to go back up the elevator shaft, weren't we?
Yep, you're making
so
good progress. Are you going
making
towards
good
the
progress.
next?
I think, yeah, at kind of at this juncture, maybe at floor 42, I'm going to get everyone to stop, and I'm going to have another nice listen.
Okay. When you're just below the.
Yeah, I think that's probably that's where that sounds reasonable.
Okay, I'm just double checking something. You hear the sounds of like some people kind of closing a set of doors. You can't hear anything directly from the room that you're in. You hear maybe some like quiet laughter coming from in that room, but not in the room that you're directly in. Do you take a peek over the top or not really?
Is it safe to do so? Is the question mark.
Like
I think because whatever happens, we're going to have to climb past it anyway. So yeah, I'm going to take a little. I'm not going to touch anything. I'm just going to kind of peek. So I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not wrenching any doors. I'm just doing the old perception.
Okay, so you kind of take a quick peek over the top, and you see the room kind of looks like it's got kind of harsh concrete. It's, as far as you can tell, is empty, although there are installed like lights as they are on. There is a chair in the middle of the room that is empty and has a little bit of blood on it. There are some doors, well, you can see at least one door off to the right, and some more stairs. The room sort of feels kind of like a place where bad things are done to people.
So do I reckon we can climb past this without, because like this is good because it's a way to get into a room. The problem is when you're getting into the kind of room where people are kept, so that you breaking into a cell is not a great idea. Breaking out of a cell is a good idea. So my gut reaction is to keep climbing.
Okay.
Do I think I'm going to be able to make it past without there definitely doesn't seem to be a guard or any security cameras or any weird stuff like that.
No, as far as you can see from your vantage point, you can't see anyone. Anyone there.
I think I'm just going to kind of not even vocalize this. I'm just going to kind of point at gesture like we're going straight up to the other two and just carry on.
Okay. You make it past the door. You can't see anyone as far as you can tell. No one's seen you. Hank, as you pass, you hear like another little giggle, a man's voice, and he's like, shh, shh, coming off from the distance. Quiet. And yeah. Do you progress? Do you keep going?
So that voice is coming from the room we're climbing past.
It's not necessarily. It's not coming like that room. As far as you can tell, is empty. But it might be coming from like one of the rooms off of that room.
Okay, I think.
In fact, you hear like a second male voice, kind of, also kind of giggling and being like, "Oh, so naughty."
What is this game?
Hey, like I rolled an event that would occur randomly. Anyway.
Okay, but okay. It doesn't sound like ambushy giggles. Like
No, it's not like people
being quiet for other reasons. Okay. I think maybe once we're all past that door, Hank might ask did anyone else hear that giggling?
I heard it a little, yeah. Didn't want to hang around and find out what it was.
No, they seemed like they weren't too bothered by us. If they, seemed a bit preoccupied.
Do we keep going? I think we keep going. Like,
you can keep going for a ways, although the shaft does not look like it goes all the way to the top. It looks like you're actually nearing. Well, you're not. You're maybe like 8 floors away from the very highest position that you could get.
I think we keep going. We got to commit. I don't know. I don't know where Alice is going to be in the facility now. We just got to go and see if we can figure it out once we break ground at the top.
Well,
Isaac will agree with any notion of going up as high as possible. I mean, we need to get to the penthouses.
We need to get to the penthouses, and we need to come back at some point.
And then come back down, and then come back up.
Yeah, we'll find Alice in one of those journeys. And...
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Let's cut back to Alice. So,
I am just flat out running.
Okay,
I don't think at this moment Alice has a specific plan other than just running and trying to get lost in this as much as possible, given it's like a maze of ruined skyscraper. I'm hoping I can just get myself lost.
Yep, you just give me a lungs roll, please.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's 51. I don't think I can explain labor gives me an extra bonus of +10. Does it for running? Probably not.
Yeah, I think like
it does. I guess
labor's physical work, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, in that case, I make it with that +10.
Okay, you start like you're running, and you manage, you think, to lose. Like he didn't really chase after you immediately. Mm-hmm. He was kind of a bit shocked that he had just been nearly killed by somebody with a pickaxe. And while he was yelling, you don't get the sense that anyone has sort of tracked you. So you have managed to, you get round a couple of corners and then you're like pretty sure it's kind of, a bit maze-like. You're in you're in like a sort of one of these kind of faceless side corridors that lead on to a couple of like, those kind of glass meeting rooms. Those are kind of
okay,
but they're empty. Obviously, like people aren't meeting.
Yeah. If I feel like I'm like not immediately being chased, I think I will slow down and try and get my bearings, and then walk around trying to be quiet and figure out where I am. If I have any sense of where the outside of the skyscraper is, are there people here at all? Is this place being lived in or abandoned?
So what exactly are you trying to establish?
I think first of all, if I can figure out where the edge of the skyscraper is, that would be useful.
Okay. You're close to the center of the skyscraper where you ended up. But you can, like, there are actual, signs in various ways that can direct you towards the edge of the skyscraper.
If I have signs, then what floor am I on?
This is what I was just trying to figure out. I think you're still within the corporate offices. Let's say you are on floor 46.
Okay. I think I will avoiding is there any sign of other people being around here? Was Anthony's place pretty out the way of everyone else?
It was deliberately out of the way. So but as you progress further, you can start seeing that there are like kind of, I guess, kind of hostels where various civilians are kind of locking their satchels away in these kind of metal gridded containers.
Okay, staying well away from them, but if anyone, just in case anyone does spot me, I'm not trying to look like I'm sneaking. I'm just walking casually to make it look like I'm just someone else here and no one will pay attention to me. If assuming that there are other people around, that it still looks like civilians. It's not like because if from my memory, it was the Firehouse Gang should be above this section still, or this
no, this is the section of the Firehouse Gang.
So they're just not everywhere.
Yeah, well, there aren't like an infinite number of them as well.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
There are a lot fewer Firehouse Gang members than there are civilians.
I think.
Are you heading towards the edge of the tower?
Well, I think if I've got some time and I'm not immediately being hunted, I might kind of casually just try and walk around a bit. Keeping a close ear out to make sure, look for this person sort of thing. Then if that happens, I'm getting out of here. But if that doesn't happen immediately, I'm going to try and figure out where the Firehose Gang are here. Like, what is their center of operations and what places are they not so bothered by? Just kind of casually wandering around.
Okay. So on this floor, do you keep progressing up?
I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm not staying on one floor if there's no restrictions.
Yeah, there don't seem to be anyone currently guarding the stairwell.
Yeah, I'll keep it if possible.
I think you can keep progressing. You actually don't see that many people, and in fact, you end up in an area where, like, it's kind of, again, there's another massive like hole. It's not the same one that you've seen that I've described previously, but there is scaffolding outside of it. It maybe was part of like the same kind of repair job. The floor under you creaks in a extremely unsettling and unhappy kind of way.
Are you about to have me stand on that bear trap? Because I'll kill you if I do.
No. What do you do?
Okay, well, I'm backing off the floor that's about to maybe collapse, first of all.
Okay,
No,
you try and back off as quickly as possible. And to be fair, I think you manage because you immediately did not progress.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole area has been, like, you look around and you find that there has been, like, a collapsed floor on this level. Like, large sections have come away.
So the good news is that means there's much less likely to be people here. So maybe this is a good opportunity for me to like have a settle and catch my bearings and just maybe just recover for a moment since no one's like to show up, and then I might see how I can progress up or forward from here, I guess.
Okay, you sort of you take a moment to catch your bearings, and then maybe you like shimmy round. It's at about this time that you come upon an elevator shaft. What do you do?
Do I hear anything from up or down the elevator shaft?
How long do you listen for?
I don't think I'm in any danger. Like a minute.
I don't think you hear anything.
Okay. I don't know if there's any way for me to gauge whether this is the same lift shaft that the other one was, but I would have a go.
You reckon it is?
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to make you roll. I think it's like based on the fact that you've actually been scoping this whole building. You're kind of like, right. So the sun's over there. We came in at this angle. It's on the same side of the building.
Yeah, I think I would climb them. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to try and make it through. Do you have a way of opening the doors?
Oh yeah, true. The doors are open. I mean, other than it could be quite useful, I suppose. My anchor thing. No, and that sounds like it'd be very loud.
Okay, are you going to try or not?
I think I will just experimentally try pulling up my arms and squeezing as a quiet strategy, and then if none of that works, which presumably it doesn't.
It does not work. You're going to need a tool.
Yes, but I'm going to stop at the point that I think it's going to be very loud.
Okay. The rest of you, from 2 floors below, you hear a muffled clanging noise. What do you do?
I get ready to drop something as heavy as
I mean, yes. As far as we're aware, that's
Yeah, that we don't know. That's
Yeah.
It's
Zhao,
obviously
so-
not the same. It's like above the floor that was the torture room. But yeah,
Sure, but
could well
it's
be.
still a floor that's one of the firehouse gang, right? Who
Yep,
know that people have been in the elevator shaft.
Yep.
So, I mean, if Fredo hears it, I'll follow his thing. But Isaac's gut would be either to climb down and ambush the person, or to go up as fast as possible and try and get on another floor.
I mean, there is another conundrum, which is the fact that you do not have an open door when you get there. Like there were only 2 areas of light, so you will have it won't be quick to get in. That's the only other thing.
I mean, maybe we take the opportunity that someone's opening the door, we ambush them, and
okay.
But again,
pull them through
Isaac
into
is
the
going
lift
to
shaft.
follow whatever Fredo says, and I don't think we have the time for this to discuss.
Yeah.
Fredo is freezing and listening because information is key.
Okay. Alice,
I'm wondering if Alice would be swearing quietly. But
can you have a
pushing the
lungs
roll too
roll,
much.
please?
Yeah, go on.
To determine how hard it is for you.
Well, I fail even with my labor bonus. I definitely fail at an 82. There's
Okay,
definitely
so this
the
is
breath muttering and
exhausting
swearing
work.
going on.
It is moving, but slowly, and it's making a slightly uncomfortable you yank it once, and it goes, "Ee," and it makes a high pitched screech.
Yeah, and I'm like, stop noise.
Do you say anything?
Other than swearing under my breath, I don't think so.
Okay. Who's at Isaac was at the bottom. Can you do a listen roll, please?
This is so fun.
So that is
brains. Here I am thinking we're in
playing
some
Call
other
of
system.
Cthulhu. No,
Yeah.
that is a resounding fail.
Okay. You hear like the susurrance of maybe some wind or something, but you don't actually hear like a whisper. Yeah, I think what happens is Zhao manages to slowly open the door after some time. But it does take a little bit of time. So
The question is, do these act if the door opens and I start squeezing? I don't know. Or are you just waiting?
Okay.
for
But
them to start?
again, we're doing all this discussion on what's happening, but Fredo was the one making the decision on what to do, so we should probably ask him what's happening.
Yep.
Yeah, so
What's
I
Fredo
think
doing?
I think I'm going to make sure we're definitely all above, aren't we?
Yes.
So I think I'm going to. Okay, so I have the quietest whisper I can manage. It's like, we might try to ambush if they're opening the door.
On hearing that, Isaac is going to immediately climb down to... Does the ladder run alongside the doors? I'm assuming so, otherwise
Yeah,
he won't be able
it
to get on
does.
the ladder from the doors. Yeah.
Can we get some more Fs in chat for Sam, please?
Please don't kill me now.
Yeah, he's going to do that. And he's going to draw his knife.
Seems fair.
I
That's
mean-
what I do.
Yeah,
That's what
Yeah.
I do.
And as soon as he I mean, in his head, this is not Alice.
Yeah, it's fair.
this is someone coming to.
This is,
Shoot in the
Isaac is a
back.
merciless bastard.
At best,
He-
it might be like
he
a
is-
nerves roll.
He is basically he will let them open it, and if no one comes past his plane of view, actually to look in or to whatever, if they're opening it for some other reason, he's going to stay there until they go away or whatever.
Well, to be
But
honest, Alice will stick her head through.
Yeah, the moment someone goes out, he is going to try to knife them and pull them.
Yeah. So Alice 100% sticks her head through.
Why would he
because she
do
doesn't-
anything else?
She doesn't think there would likely be anyone there but your.
So relevant fact is that because the door is quite hard to open, I don't think it will be fully wide open by the time that Alice decides to go through or to
Yeah,
stick
yeah.
ahead stick ahead through. So like pulling her through might be very difficult. Okay.
I mean, we could do like a brains roll to see if he recognizes her in the split instant before he
Yeah, let's-
tries
let's-
to knife
That's
her.
what I was thinking.
Let's do
Is
a
Alice
brains for
Actually, stop,
Isaac and a
not
nerves
so-
for Alice, because I want to see
Okay,
your
cool.
reflexes.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, I fail my nerves.
Okay. This is how we die.
Yeah.
Oh, I very much failed brains. That's a
Amazing.
94.
Don't you love systems like this?
Okay.
So I
Brilliant.
assume I'm rolling lungs to see if I knife Alice.
Yeah, I think so. I think you have to roll lungs, given all the knowledge.
This is fantastic. Yeah, no, don't shy away from it. 100%. If you get an amazing success at this, I swear to God.
For the second time this session, I rolled an 8.
Oh, God. Okay, that could be worse damage.
It could be worse damage.
Okay, so you hit the upper torso, but the tens is 0, which means you graze the upper torso. So, Alice, a knifed hand, like as you sort of pass your head just through a little bit, like a maniac with a knife, who you actually do nearly instantly recognize as being Isaac. Like just jabs like the knife through, and it just like cuts through the I don't know if you still have the waterproof on. What kind
Well,
of clothing?
I have heavy leather underlayer, which is 1 armor, so it might protect me from this graze 1 damage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so if you have some leather armor, it might actually like soften, and that might be why it's not like he's managed to gouge a deeper hole. You sort of you see Isaac stabbing at you.
Okay,
What do you do?
Okay. I'm immediately just like, I grab his hand and go, Jesus fucking Isaac, it's me, fuck. As your knife.
I know
like,
it's
against
you.
my chest.
I'm going to carry on. No, I will like withdraw my knife and kind of sheath it and just say, try and close the doors after you. Carry on climbing back up.
Yeah. I'll be like, oh, you fucking terrifying, damn it, fuck. And then I will slowly crawl in and try and do that. So
Okay, Hank and Fredo, you see Alice come through the door.
she's muttering herself about maniac. Knife wielding maniac.
Well, it's
Not
nice
trying
to
to hide
know
it from Isaac.
he's ready to spring into action. Just
Okay.
we maybe shouldn't sneak up on Isaac.
I figured you might
That's
have
solid
it.
advice. That's solid advice.
What did you want me to do? Shout down the fucking elevator shaft?
No, everything's good. No one's dead. We're going to climb up like 2 more floors, and then we're going to try and get out of this shaft.
Okay, you reach floor 49 when one of the handles is rusty and breaks. But it just sails off down, like clanking all the way. What do you do?
Well, now's as good as time as any to get off.
Sorry.
Get off the.
I'm assuming Fredo has knocked it loose.
Yes.
Does one of us below have a chance to roll to see if we can catch it?
Oh.
If any of you think of it, so Isaac, you can. You can
I,
roll
I have a. Should I roll?
nerves.
Is it like a
probably?
reflexes thing and then a lungs thing? Maybe
I think it's
it's
just
quite a
a,
hard thing to do.
I,
Or just
I think it's just a nerves, just a nerves thing. I
a
think.
nerves thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's just if you have the reflexes for it, you can maybe intercept it.
Nope. Sadly, I rolled an 80, so 8s and 0s are my thing tonight.
I
Okay.
don't think Hank will think to catch it. I think he'll dodge it. Jesus,
Okay.
I don't think
So
I
Isaac's
would
like
see it.
kind of snatches out at it, but hits it away, and it just sort of spirals off. He doesn't quite get his hand on it. And it clatters down, and you hear like a faint splash. Yeah, I'm assuming. What are you doing?
The next available elevator door exit is the one we're taking.
Okay. This one opens relatively easily. And yeah, as you're entering, you sort of hear maybe some murmurings elsewhere. This area looks like it's kind of you don't see any people. In fact, this area looks like it's been abandoned. I mean, it would be the very top of the fire hose gang territory. You see there's kind of the smell of like trash that is like has been left here by someone. As you walk, the area is kind of somewhat exposed. You disturb a seagull that kind of screams at you and flaps its wings, and you see that like it's got a little egg nearby that clearly thinks you're after.
I will also take the opportunity while we're walking just to mutter to people, I'm sorry, they might be looking for me down there.
Well, better looking for you down there than up here.
Yeah, but it might make things tricky when we're going back down and up. I won't offer any more information unless you ask.
Can we close the elevator door as best as we can?
Yep, I think you can. It takes a little bit of time, and in fact, because it takes a little bit of time, are you on floor 49 or 50? Sorry,
I think you said 49.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, 49. Okay. Yeah. You can manage to do that. And actually, you manage to get up out of the corporate offices relatively quickly, assuming that's what you're doing. And by heading to the stairs, you don't encounter any particular person, unless there's something else you'd like to do in the meantime.
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we want to get up as quick as possible to get the key.
Obviously, decommissioning the climbing rig now and returning it to my bag, and
okay,
I might keep the climbing harness on just for the fun of it, just for the high fashion.
Yep. So you go up through you sort of walk up through what seems like kind of an alien landscape. This floor is of the first of the 5-star hotel, and it's charred and blackened. You can sort of, as you're walking, you're kind of kicking up a bit of soot from just all of the burned out areas, and you're leaving like a little trail of footprints through the soot.
Oh, great.
You continue onwards. Your boots are now your boots and shoes are coated in the stuff. Do you continue up through the 5-star hotel?
Yeah.
After the intensity of the other floors, it's eerily quiet. The windows here are not boarded up, and so the wind, which has picked up since even last you saw it, is kind of blowing freely through the whole thing. You hear the occasional scurrying of rats, but other than the whistling of the wind and the kind of little animal noises, you don't see anything.
If the windows are broken open, I take it it's not dry in here.
It is not dry, yes. As you progress through this, I think you'll probably accumulate 2 or 3 wet. Roll a dice to determine it. Higher number means 3, lower number means 2. And yeah, you keep going. You see the kind of discarded remnants of like bullet casings. Clearly, there has been some conflict here.
Because
though not
it does
recently.
sort of matter for initiative in this game. Hank does have his sort of hunting rifle out.
Okay.
You know, obviously he's not SWAT around the corners and everything,
Sure.
but it's in his hands.
Yeah, same with my pistol.
Are you so in general? Are you remaining? Are you trying to remain close to the center of the building or close to the edges?
I honestly, I'd like to do a cursory search here because I want to kind of case this joint as well because things have changed. So a little bit of both, like almost kind of exploring, for want of a better word.
Okay. If you spend, do you want to spend like an hour or so doing that?
I don't want to spend an hour
That's
on
fine.
it because I'd really like to get into some shelter. So
yes. Okay. You can have a search of these floors with the various like 5-star hotel rooms. Some of the rooms are still sort of vaguely intact. Some of the doors are kind of locked, so you can't enter them. But if you search, I'm just going to get you some loot, I think. You find I need a D4. You find a roll of duct tape, which is hot pink.
Nice.
they're screwed now. There's no way we can lose.
Yep. But do you overall sort of continue through that?
Unless anyone else is going to lay claim on it, Isaac will suggest that he take the duct tape because it will be useful for him.
With a little bit of a dejected sigh, Fredo will hand it over.
Yep. So Isaac takes the duct tape. And yeah, you press on. Alice, you're like cut in your torso, is kind of was superficial and so isn't bleeding anymore.
Scratch
but it's
face
still
already
stinging
bleeds
a little bit.
more, I bet.
Yeah. And you progress. Yeah, you make it through the 5-star hotel, and you can reach the first of your penthouses. Now I need to roll a d10. Okay. Let's see what you find in the penthouses. The penthouses are like all beautiful, kind of ornate. Like the first penthouse you reach is kind of all leather and animal prints. The sofa and pillows are like all cut open, and like their guts are kind of splayed out all over the room. There's just
Isaac's
kind of
been here.
quite possibly. Yeah.
As we progress into this area, Isaac is going to suggest that if this is where the fire hose gang threw their undesirables, those undesirables are either going to be dead or they're going to be very dangerous. So we should basically be considering ourselves to be in hostile territory and treat it as such.
So do you adopt some sort of, do you have like a team kind of formation that, or like does somebody go on point when you have this kind of thing? Or
Isaac will definitely default to Fredo, because I know burglary isn't the same as special forces operations, but he's the stealth guy, Hank's the guy with the gun. So Isaac is going to be behind them, following their lead.
I'll take up the rear.
I will get my ice axe out and kind of look a little bit unsure of using it as a weapon, but continue, I suppose, to kind of. Yeah, so what else is going on in this room where all of the fluffy stuff has been spread out around the place? Is there any sign of conflict? Is there any noises, actually? Have a little listen. We haven't had a listen for a while.
Okay, you can roll a D100. Can somebody else roll a D100 for just sort of generally searching the place, please?
That is 100.
And I got lucky 13.
Okay. Lucky 13 gets you... Oh, you find a little... in a drawer made of just like finest filigreed kind of gold inset mahogany kind of. You find there's like a container of bullets, 13 bullets in fact, which there's no gun next to it, but the bullets look much cheaper and very out of place for this kind of expensive and elaborate thing. And with 100, you hear nothing.
Isaac is going to hand 3 bullets to everyone else and keep the extra 4 for himself, because I guess finder's fee.
Sure. You don't hear what's coming. Okay. Do you want? Okay. So you progress up to the next floor. Let's have a look. Okay. This floor has a bunch of dried up water features. Like it has a fountain in the middle that has a statue of a boy pissing. But he's not. It has kind of various elaborate, kind of like a massive bathroom with all sorts of elaborate metalwork. It has a pool that is like, when you enter the room with the pool, you nearly choke on how rancid the thing smells. The whole, like, there's just loads of shit and awfulness thrown into that pool, and it's like shallow, flies buzz around. You wouldn't be surprised. Like face down in the pool is kind of like a dead man. Like, it is not a good place. And yeah, let's see what you find. 28 is, so you find sort of embedded in the man's back a machete.
I mean, from your description, I'm assuming we'd have to wade knee deep in shit to get it.
You would have to wade knee deep in shit to get it, or find a way to obtain. Like, he's floating more towards one end of the pool. It might not go knee deep. You're not sure, but yeah, it's pretty unpleasant.
Isaac will immediately suggest for no one to go near the rancid sewage in a place where antibiotics are at a premium.
Yeah, I'm not that desperate.
A machete isn't worth dying of infection.
Sure. Okay. You progress up through another couple of floors.
I think as this is going on, I'll probably say, so the code's in one of these penthouses. How the hell do we know which one where it is in these penthouses? What are we looking for in it?
Or if it's even still here. It's literally a needle in a haystack, except
there are
trying
10
to kill us.
Penthouses, as far as you're aware, or penthouse floors. Each of these areas is its own area, its own like floor. It's not like divided into each floor's its own floor.
Or
Yeah,
penthouse.
Each
exactly.
floor is a separate penthouse.
Yeah.
Each floor is a separate penthouse, split up into the rooms as you would expect. Although there are some, there are definitely some like private areas. You notice like there are a couple of maybe small, like maybe structures that weren't there originally, like a door that is boarded up, or looks like it was constructed maybe by somebody recently as opposed to in the original
But there's
case.
still no signs of life or anyone active here.
Well, on the third penthouse you check out, which of you is taking the lead? Okay, Fredo, you hear a sort of low groaning, and a man's voice goes, "Help!" What do you do?
Tom Hardy bait meme.
I think I'm not going to say, "Hi, we're here to help." I'm going to try and get more information. I'm going to see if I can get eyes on this guy and kind of get everyone to kind of do the international symbol for quiet.
So, please, I just need some water. Are you trying to get a better look at where this voice is coming from? You can't currently see him.
Can I ask where exactly we kind of are?
So
what's the layout of the current room or corridor or whatever?
Yeah, so you are. There's like a large kind of. There's like an entranceway with like two sets of stairs that kind of go up to a sort of second level, even though this is just one kind of thing. And
like
you've
a kind of mansion hallway.
Yeah, exactly,
layout.
exactly. And you've just come in through the entranceway, and you can hear that like on the second level, it's coming from like behind, but it's kind of obscured by the floor. Like there's a kind of balcony area, and he's kind of does that make sense?
So no, it makes very much sense. Isaac is immediately starting to look around for cover.
Okay.
And also expressing quietly to the others of asking if they can see cover. Are the doors behind us still open? I'm assuming we haven't closed them behind us.
Yeah, you haven't. Yeah, I mean, the doors were blown open by some sort of explosive force.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not.
Is there like furniture or anything around that provides cover?
Yeah, there's like to the sort of left of you, there's a kind of very opulent looking kind of sofa and some, I mean, lamps don't provide cover. They're obviously not functioning. There's a table that's been knocked over and actually has a couple of bullet holes in it.
Well, that's not a good sign.
Yeah,
so,
no, it wasn't like a thick table.
Yeah.
What direction is it we would move from here, Pierre? Is it like continuing past this if we were to try and get onto the next penthouse? Or?
You could probably bypass this. You don't necessarily have to go through this.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just curious what's going on.
Isaac, for his part, is going to immediately duck behind the sofa, and with no real consideration for whether other people are familiar with the term or not, he's going to quietly say "defilade" to everyone.
Okay.
I have no idea what that means, but it had the word death in it. So Fredo's probably just going to, if there's no immediate cover, Fredo's just going to go back to the doorway and see if he can kind of make himself scarce against air and just wait.
You hear the voice go, "Please, I can come to you," and you hear like the sound of something dragging towards you from above the thing. Do any of you move? Do any of you take up? What do you do?
Other than being in cover, just wait, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think Hank's going to point the rifle at the direction of the movement. While obviously being in whatever cover there is, with the cover
Okay.
between him and that.
If what you're doing is
Go for it.
waiting, at some point you will see a figure, kind of like just his head initially, kind of peek up over the banister that kind of looks down on where you guys are. The man looks gaunt as anything. He looks incredibly pale, like is almost kind of, his skin is a sickly color. He raises a kind of shaking hand, and then he raises the other hand, and it's coated in dried blood. Please.
Can I roll to see if he looks ill, or if he looks wounded, or like he's just starving, or can I roughly assess him?
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm assuming I can get a
EMT
+20
absolutely
on this.
applies.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is very much a success.
Okay, he looks like he's on death's door. He looks like he has not eaten. He's incredibly thin. The fact that his skin is so pale and pasty, and the complexion that he has, makes you think he's probably suffered from some blood loss. It's pretty badly. He looks in an awful way.
Okay.
You can't really get a full gauge on him because you're only seeing a limited amount of him. But he doesn't look like a man. He's either faking it exceptionally well, or he actually is a dying man.
That doesn't potentially stop him from being bait. Just he's not triggering the trap. But Isaac's going to kind of weigh this up in his head, stand up, turn to Hank and say, keep the gun leveled behind us, as in where others could come from up there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Keep an eye out and point the gun up.
And then I am going to slowly start walking up those stairs. As I do so, I'm going to say, I am a doctor, a medic.
Thank you, sir.
If it makes any difference to him, he might not be able to tell. I'm not saying it to him.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. As you get a sort of the first view over the thing, and it's like a bar. All of the glasses like are smashed and everything's destroyed. Like there doesn't look like there's anything else.
Sorry. You finish. Sorry.
I'm just going to say there's like a bloody trail leading from the edge of the bar where there's like a mostly finished bottle of whiskey. And it leads to where this man is.
Can I roll brains just to see if I can see anything untoward? Like if there's anyone lurking?
Yep, absolutely.
Like okay. No bonus on this one. Nope.
Okay.
In that case, I am going to go closer. I am going to repeat, I am a medic. I am skilled. Again, it's not aimed at him.
Yeah. He, like, the man before you looks desperate and on death's door. He has his gut has a big red spreading or actually not sorry, it's a spread of like crimson across his jacket. It looks mostly dry, but because you're getting a closer look at him, it looks like this guy is suffering from sepsis or
he's gut shot and he's a goner.
You don't think he has much time.
Like he might be able to be saved if I had proper modern
an operating theatre.
But okay. Do you want me to make any roll out, or is it just? I mean, it's obvious because I know what I'm looking at. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can make the brain. Did you make the brains roll right, by the way,
For looking
for scouting?
around? No, I didn't.
Okay, just if you make that, let me know what you get.
I didn't.
Okay.
I failed.
You
You
made
did
the
not
roll,
make
but
it.
failed.
I
The
made the roll and I failed it.
Okay, you don't hear or see anything. He says, I told the man, he promised he would get me help, but he just shot me.
I'm going to kneel down. I'm going to get I have a 1 liter bottle of water in my bag. I'm going to get it out. I'm going to measure some out in the cap and give it to him.
He gratefully drinks.
After,
you can see like the look of relief on his face.
Isaac doesn't particularly register that. He's going to pour another cap full of water and say, "Where is the code?"
You see a look of sort of initial confusion on his face, and then you're not going to shoot me too, or maybe
I will be. Look at me. Focus.
He looks back up at you.
It doesn't matter whether I do or not. Do you understand that?
Do you have any more painkillers?
I have morphine. Tell me where the code is.
I think there's on the floor above. There's a laptop. It's there. Please give me the morphine.
Is there a password for the laptop?
You'll see. It doesn't need a password.
Is it guarded?
No, but there's someone else. He's
the one who shot you.
Yeah. He didn't give me his name.
Well, if it's any comfort, and at this point I'm reaching into my pack and getting out one of my morphine syringes. If he gets in our way, we'll deal with him. Lie back.
He lies back.
I'll give him the extra cap of water, and as he's drinking it, I'm going to inject morphine directly into his jugular. The full syringe.
Yeah, you see his eyes sort of close and he exhales as though some mercy would under him.
He probably won't be instantly dead, but
yeah.
I mean, he will be dead soon anyway, and at least this way he'll be.
His face relaxes.
He's going out the way he lived on vast quantities of heroin.
Yep. And I
Didn't
think
mean anything by that.
On that, we will call it there. Thank you for the session, guys.
An ethical cliffhanger, if not a narrative cliffhanger.
Exactly.
That was
Hey, if Isaac was completely unethical, he probably would have got the information and then just left him.
Or
I
just
mean,
stab
yeah,
him.
I thought the morphine was a bluff. and it was
Morphine
just
is
a-
extremely expensive.
Yeah, I thought that was
A knife
remarkably
or
moral of Isaac.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as we are telling tales, you can hear about more of our escapades on YouTube. We've got hundreds of videos that you can peruse or catch us live. But yeah, if we have any questions in the chat, let us know. Are there any? Oh, Matt is choking, so possibly now is not the best time to be asking.
Someone must have typed something very funny.
Yeah.
He's going to throw it up in a second.
They
It's gonna
typed
change
some
the
water
world.
into my throat.
That classic way of typing.
You just
That was also the point in time where I realised I'd forgotten to star the comments in the chat. So, but first, before we do, yeah, as Pierre said,
check us out.
Links below, Twitch and YouTube. We've got Vason on Mondays. Big Wet is currently on Thursdays. Simbaroom is coming back on Wednesdays in August. And then we've got 2 one-shots running next month. The third part of Johnny's Space Thulu trilogy, not trilogy, or kind of a trilogy, I'm not sure. And I believe we're looking to put that out on the 20th. And then I'm running Hell Knights probably the weekend after that, but we'll see. We've also had a follow we should acknowledge. And I'm going to say this either as Duke Rimbo or Doc Rimbo. So, either way, great. Thank you for the follow. Let's get them comments.
I mean,
that was a fun.
I have to highlight
Wet Flicks and Chill.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that was.
I'm so sorry.
So we got this comment from Sam.
Yep. The wrench and the ice pick have been very valuable tools in this.
They have been, yeah.
Wrench and ice pick solving crime one busted door at a time.
And we had our first and second combat, which both times did not result in anything lethal.
I'm really glad the second
as a
time
GM,
didn't.
I was like, I mean, if he rolls like destroyed head or something, you can't like reasonably survive that.
Yeah.
While holding onto like a thing in an elevator in an elevator shaft.
Yeah, like because the thing of it with me was I was imagining because like I didn't have to do a lethal blow. I just had to puncture the person.
Yeah, and then they must
roll lungs again to just try and hoist them out into the.
Still though, how cool would it have been to have one of our first? It might have been the first non-planned player death in a campaign, not in a one-shot, in a campaign. Be when one of the other players has killed him.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing.
It might be though. Yeah, it might be our first. It's
Yeah.
definitely not a first player death in a campaign.
No, but one shot's not included.
But first PvP death would have been
first PvP. Yeah. So,
normally GMs don't let it get that far.
Almost sad I didn't die, despite the fact I love my character.
We've got this one from Steve.
Yep. That is one of the difficulties of this. Is like, it's
sorry, just
hard.
because a lot of people listen to this, we should we read them out before we
punched right in the eye with keys, instant death.
Yeah,
but yeah, I was just sort of commenting on the fact that like, yeah, it is interesting because obviously it's a simplified system. So you have to sort of use your judgment about whether the person actually could like destroy someone's head with keys, and it's like the answer is no.
Yeah. So you got to kind of judge.
Yeah, it's tricky because obviously, like most weapons are going for some sort of fatality, but with a punch, you sort of, even if it's with keys or whatever, you can't do a huge amount of damage apart from like knocking someone out, I guess.
You can kill someone with a punch with keys to their fingers. You can kill someone with a punch without that.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
I mean, the thing with the game
it's about GM fiat and judgment, right?
Yeah.
There's not an HP stat, is it? It's keys in your eyes. You're not going to come out well if that. It's not a.
No.
It would be a pretty brutal.
I'm glad
thing.
it was just a graze. Yeah. Oof.
And I think like and this is the thing with like, and here's where I'm going to bring out my pre-modern kind of combat nerdness. Most of fighting is not about instantly killing an opponent with a blow. It is about disabling an opponent. Like if you punch someone in the eye with their keys, they're going to be screaming and rolling around in agony and clutching at blood leaking out of their face.
Point,
At which point you can stab them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it is interesting how that kind of the mechanic is cool. I think with this whole system, you have to be a bit sort of judicious about when you choose to let people roll for a thing, because sometimes you should just be like, that's impossible, so no roll. Because
I enjoyed your narration of the combat between me and Anthony earlier on, because I was like swinging in the back of the head when he's facing the thing. Surely that's an instant. But then I was like, I did talk about hesitating, and then the way you did it, like he just turned round that was really
Yeah.
nice play on that like moment. Otherwise, it would just be silly otherwise. But yeah,
Yeah.
that made sense then.
And then we've got this from Don't Kick Food.
Mhm.
I feel. Sorry. I think I like the 2-hit location and damage roll combined into one.
I like it a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in Warhammer Fantasy, as Steve pointed out in the next comment as well. Yeah, it's the same sort of concept. We liked it in that as well. It gives you the narrative and the
Well, it really
function.
cuts down on the amount of rolling.
It
Yep.
does sort of make sense because, like I said, there's no HP stat, but there are parts of the body you would rather get hit or,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Yep.
that,
Mhm.
you know. So it takes sort of the abstractness away from it
Mhm.
being a
I
combat.
mean, it's quite clear, isn't it? You know, a shattered leg. You know exactly what's happened. You don't need more information than that.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. We got this one from Jack, which I believe was the rung incident.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't make any sudden moves around Isaac
No,
because he goes to
nothing.
stab the rung.
Yeah.
Although I think you did redeem yourself right at the end by, I think Isaac is a man of like contradictions. I get that
Mhm.
feeling from him. He's like
Mhm.
cold, but also, necessarily cold.
Yeah,
he's a medic and an EMT, and
yeah, and he very
Yeah.
much considers himself to still be bound to aspects
Yeah.
of the oath.
The Hippocratic Oath.
But yeah, generally speaking, the guy gave us the information.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to receive what I bargained for that.
Yep.
Yep.
If he didn't, out of interest, because someone sort of said, Steve said, expecting more knife-based mercy. If he hadn't given us that, Isaac would have knifed him. But again, as from Isaac's perspective, mercy, not vindictiveness.
Well, even the attacking Alice, it wasn't out of
there was nothing cruel about it. I completely agree.
It's going to try and kill me.
It's the person on the other side of this door or us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's it.
It made perfect sense.
Isaac operates in a very black and white, like, moral code.
To be honest, I don't actually think Alice at all begrudged it. She was just fucking terrified at the moment, rather than actually being pissed off. Because
well, it was interesting because you apologized immediately, right? Like, after you were the one who was getting stabbed.
That's true. I did. Yeah.
And Isaac absolutely did not.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you were the one to act right. Maybe I should have tried to call your attention. To be fair.
Yeah.
We had this, which I do love, from Don't Kick Food when I was choking on water. That sweat score just increased.
Yeah. Yeah. Interestingly, there haven't been that many opportunities for you guys to get wet yet, because as I said, you've been inside and under quite significant cover for a lot of the things.
That's not what Andrew WK once told me. Very niche joke there for very niche people.
We are all niches in your canon. I don't know.
What?
Do we have any further questions? Or is
that's it.
That is the last of it. Well, thank you for joining us. Come along next time for more wet adventures. There's no good way of saying it.
It's no good way.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.